CXO Community.
Partner, Access IT. Joe, up on stage. Get it right here.
Well, thank you for the presentation, Gil. As you know, this is the session where I get to ask you questions on behalf of the audience. So first of all, I apologize for my New Jersey accent, but I guess it'll go well with your Israeli accent. A lot of people came up to me and wanted to ask some questions, and they ranged from the personal to where do you shop for your clothes to what's the stock you do next week. But I was told that if I ask anything inappropriate, they're gonna quickly take me off the stage.
I would never done that. I may not answer.
Okay, that's fair enough. So we'll ask more of a technical nature question. I got a few, written down here. In your presentation, you talked a lot about threats and threat prevention. What changed in the past year in terms of threat landscape? And what advice would you give users and organizations to help with this overwhelming task of protecting themselves?
And I think first we've seen a big surge in these kinds of orchestrated, sophisticated attacks. If before that, most attacks were sort of one vector, one attempt, and so on, today attacks are using multiple methods, they are sophisticated, and we still need to protect against the same single attack vectors, but now the real threat is the combining of multiple vectors and attacks that are more and more coordinated and consolidated, and in some cases even targeted. I think it's very, very doable to protect against them. And again, my advice hasn't changed in the past year. First, it's adopting a clear policy in every company. What do we try to do in security and how do we manage that? Then it's getting the people aware, and the people, it can be the people in the IT department, which should have a lot of awareness, or even the users, which should have little awareness, but at least awareness of what we need to do. And then using the technology. Now, in the technology, I think we presented some nice tools here. So you don't have to start a new department and get 3 more people and hundreds of thousands of equipment. You can start by turning existing gateways into anti-bot gateways. You can immediately become part of the threat cloud. And I think if simple processes are followed, most enterprises can bring their protection level to really the highest levels possible.
So the concept of global collaboration against cybercrime, to me it seems like you attempt to use some of these collaborative techniques that the criminals have been using almost like against them. So, what triggered the concept of collaboration on the defense side? But more importantly, what innovative technologies or breakthroughs make that technology possible today?
So it's a process that, like many innovative processes, it doesn't start from just one source, but multiple sources. One of them is our daily attempt that happened in the last few years to identify new threats, and through that we've put more and more sensors around the internet and try to build new systems that detect attacks. That's one that happens. And the second breakthrough was when we've analyzed through a few attacks that happened to our customers. We've seen the headlines in the news. We've seen that an entire state or country or a sector, and we've seen multiple foes, so that's why I'm not just giving one specific. Everybody's fighting one big attack. It even makes it to the headline news, so everybody knows about it. And we've actually started talking to the customers and offering our help. We saw that nobody was helping them. There were no agencies, whether it's the state-owned agencies or others, that helped with advice or anything like that. And not only that, we saw that after an hour or two, we were able to help one customer to stop the attack. Still, there were 2,000 customers on the same day in the main headline that their sites were down because of the same attack. And we said, how comes that there is no way to take the know-how that one customer gathered and simply share it? So simply tell everyone that's what you should be aware of. And of course, I'm talking not just about interaction between people. Many of these things can be done automatically and electronically, so they are effective in real time. And that's where I think I saw that we need to connect the two, the multiple technology that we developed, our sophisticated sensors that are around the world, the day-to-day data that we collect, or not we collect, that every customer collects, but actually allow the customers to share portions of that information. I'm specifically careful about that because, I mean, we're not collecting customer data information. We are just, every customer should allow just specific identifiers of the tax to be shared with the rest of the world. And when you actually take all of that, you get a very, very powerful system that didn't exist before.
So I think what's pretty unique about Checkpoint and the solutions that you've been coming out with is the fact that it's more about, it's not only about the technology and the products, but it's also part of the processing, getting people involved. Is that like the future of security, is enabling people and educating them more around the technologies?
It's always been an important part. I think we need to highlight it more because the more sophisticated attacks are actually using more people-oriented technology, more social engineering technologies. And I think you'll see even in a month presentation following us a few examples of that. So if the early attacks were about how we are smarter, how we can penetrate the network, this is becoming harder and harder to do. And now people are saying, okay, we cannot penetrate the network, so the way to get through is through somebody inside the organization that will open the wrong file, that will do the wrong thing, and we need to fool them. And unfortunately, what 20 years ago was esoteric stories about social engineering becomes almost a daily issue today in our marketplace. We get an email, please click here, please click there, it looks very innocent, we trust it, and something that happens.
Right. So with the release of R75.40, we're talking about consolidating security solutions and at the same time simplifying them. Considering that the sophistication of the threat landscape keeps on increasing, the concept of simplifying and consolidating almost seem contradictory. How does Checkpoint manage to address these issues while providing leading IT security solutions and defining themselves in that route?
That's a very good and very challenging question. First, I think in everything in life, simple is better, and if we can. The problem that it's usually very hard to get the things that we want in the simplicity that we want. But for years, there's been this argument about suite versus best of breed and so on. And I take a slightly different view of it. It's not whether it's best of breed or suite. I think that the one thing that definitely in security people like is the best technology. The point how to do it together. And what we've been working for many, many years is developing the right architecture. It's not trying to be a supermarket that sells a bunch of great product or lousy product. It's trying to build a great architecture that everything can work together. And on that infrastructure, on that architecture, we're trying to build the best blades. So if you look at our IPS today, I think is one of the best, or not the best IPS. Not to mention the fact that it's becoming much, much more effective when it's integrated into the architecture. We look at the anti-bot, I think we have a cutting-edge anti-bot. And of course, our VPN, firewall, application control that has a database of hundreds of thousands of applications and multiple methods of identifying them compared to 1% of that in the competing solution. So I think we're really, really trying hard to make every single blade that we have to be the best of breed, yet we've created this underlying architecture. So the answer is this is about architecture, not about suites versus the best.
Answer my next question. So, to kind of take that to the next level, though, I talked to a lot of Fortune 500 organizations, and there seems to be over the past 10 years like a huge array of security solutions in their networks. A lot of them disjointed. Do you feel that in and of itself is inherently insecure, having all these disparate security solutions addressing different parts of the threat landscape, but yet not all synergistically working together?
First, I must say, I like the fact that we have a lot of innovation in our marketplace. I don't think that we should have a market with 3 large companies instead of 600 innovators that try to build better things. I think it's good to have innovation, but this is a real challenge. And that question needs to be answered in each separate environment. If you have multiple different types of systems, that allow entry to your company or taking a security risk, it's very, very likely that they won't be coordinated. If you're putting additional levels of controls, like you have a great firewall, a great IPS, and behind that a new system to detect new threats, that system in itself doesn't create a new vulnerability. How to make it effective, how to get use out of its results, that will require consolidation. The fact that somewhere there sophisticated systems that analyzes threats on your network, but nobody knows how to do anything with its results, doesn't, and it's a good start, but not having that. But the real secret is integrating that system into the rest of the infrastructure, having it part of the same architecture, and immediately when we see something like a bot, stopping it rather than getting a report a week later.
So in 2009, you introduced the software blade architecture, and last year, we had the new line of integrated performance appliances. And today, you launched Gaia, a unified operating system. What would you say would be the motivating factors for users to adopt this new platform as a key element of their infrastructure, knowing that sometimes it's really difficult to get users and organizations to kind of take the next step in the new technology now?
I think that's actually quite easy in this case. First, our new platforms are providing approximately 3 times more performance for the same price, and that's great. I mean, we actually see that there's a very high level of interest in them, because if you can get something 3 times better and 3 times faster for roughly the same price, that's good. Now, you may ask yourself, why do I need to reach 3 times more performance? And that's sometimes a question we should ask ourselves. And the answer is you absolutely need it, because if you want to enable more security, if you want to enable more blades, you need more security power. And that's where you actually need all of them. I think the same is true in Gaia. I mean, some customers love to operate secure platform. It's simple, it's great. Some customers love Ipsos. It's also great, and it's created a very loyal install base. Up to now, there was a linkage between that operating system and the hardware, and you were limiting in your choices if you only chose to be in one camp. Today, there's no choices anymore. Today, there's more choices. You can choose any appliance that you want, new or old, with the same operating environment. So this is a very straightforward decision. And I think the new operating system also got the combination of the features. So it's not that we've picked one and made it the standard. We've really, really developed a new level of operating system. That's why it took us 3 years, and not to eliminate one. It could have been, we could have done it a year or 2 ago. To really create a new one with all the features and the quality that's needed, it took much more time, and that's why it's happened now.
So versatility, ease of use, and also ease of implementation. So Checkpoint over the years has been, has provided us with some pretty innovative and trendsetting solutions in our industry. So, my question would be more like, where do you get your inspiration? Like, where do you get the ideas to come up with these solutions? And how involved are you personally in the development of the products and the technologies?
So that's an excellent question, and I think we all know that in our world there's no simple answer to innovation. Innovation can come from everywhere. It can come from a new developer who joined last week and had a great idea. It can come from a customer that says, if you do that, it will be great. And of course, there are many things in the middle. What we are trying to do in Checkpoint is not to limit the innovation, but actually to orchestrate it. So we invest a lot in customer forums and partner forums. When we, every few months, gather these forums and ask the question, what do you need? What's missing? That's one source. We have hundreds of our partners and hundreds of our sales reps that every day meet with customers. So we see what's the challenges, and we work through our product management people to collect that information and organize that. And we encourage our developers to come up with new ideas, and we have inside the organization, first we encourage our developers to meet with customers. That's not trivial in our industry. We have a lot of programs like that Field Week that we send developers for a week with customers to really see what they're doing, and many other interactions of that. And we take all, and we have a lot of innovative labs inside the company that a developer can come up with that idea, and they can get, whether it's a day, a week, or even 2 months to try and develop a new concept, and then we only decide if it's a concept we are interested in. So actually, in the development organization that we have, every line of management has their authority to authorize such a research project, and the big one that are multi-months, we track and we try to do that. Now, once we take all of that, we get the big innovations like the threat cloud, and we get many small innovations that can be like the rule hit count. Sounds very trivial, but after many, many years, it's great to see that. And technologically, by the way, it is pretty sophisticated to collect all that data from the different blades and the different logs and feed it back in real time.
You know, I've been a partner with Checkpoint since the mid-90s, and I think it's fascinating to me the ability that Checkpoint has shown, and you can actually pinpoint meetings that we've had with customers and users to development of the product and future releases. So, like I said, that's a testament to what you're saying. I'm going to switch speeds here a little bit and go more on a personal question. But you know, when I talk to people about yourself, they define you here, at least my circle of friends, as the Bill Gates of Israel. So I'm not sure if you take that as a compliment or not. But they always say you can tell a lot by a person by what kind of music they listen to and what kind of car they drive. What's on your iPod and what kind of car do you drive?
First, I think what may be defining it, I have a lot of different things. I'm hearing from the Beatles that existed before I was born to modern New World Arabic music. That's a very opposite of kind of music and a lot of things in the middle. And cars, I also like a lot of cars. So in California, I have a Tesla, which is like a supercar that's electric, but drives and looks like a real supercar. I drive big luxury cars. Actually, last week I got a new one that's a new all-electric car. It's a startup in Israel that's trying to develop not the cars, but to develop the full infrastructure to connect our world with electric infrastructure for which we need to drive electric cars. So I got one of the first all-electric cars, and I have now a charging station at home, a station at work, and I can drive nicely between them. And that's a nice thing. When I go to my parking lot every morning, my kids say, "Daddy, we want the blue car. Daddy, we want the white car." And every day we have a discussion which one we'll take today.
What's the name of the Israeli electric car?
Better Place. The company's Better Place.
Oh, okay. I drive a Prius and I listen to American folk music.
In the same direction, but we need more diversity.
Yeah, I'm joking. People that know me know that that's not the case. All right, so I think we'll ask one more last question, and we're going to run out of time. But this year the message is pretty clear: threat prevention and unified security platform, simplifying it into the security systems overall. What do you see as the biggest problem in IT security in the coming years, and how can enterprises prepare for what is yet to come?
I mean, first, the challenge is that the biggest problem is that there's more than one problem. If it was one attack vector that we can say, this one we need to fight, I think we can consolidate all the forces and fight it. But the attacks are not going down. Every vulnerability that was ever found is still there, and still we need to still find them. The vulnerability may not be there if our infrastructure is updated, but if our kid's computer wasn't updated or a major command and control system in our power plant is not being updated, it's not being updated because it needs to be stable and it could be a 10 years old or a 15-year-old computer, it may be vulnerable, as we already discovered. So we need to keep up with all the old attacks. We need to develop new vectors to the new one. And there is a lot of different things. So the biggest challenge is how to take all of that and combine it and consolidate it and to find the one architecture that will find all the different vectors. And of course, within that, there's many types of attacks that are gaining share and make us think harder what we can do better. So if there's anti-bot that we've been thinking for multiple years, that we've been working in, and there's more types of attacks that we're working on and that pose serious threats to our infrastructure. And I hope that every year we will be able to come up with one or more new types of new security system that fights new types of attacks, and I know that.
So the rest of these are all jokes, and you'll start out with, a rabbi and a priest. They're very inappropriate, so I'm going to stop it right here. Thanks again for answering the questions, and more importantly, thanks for hosting us.
Thank you very much.